Special operations is not what they used to be. In the war on terror, the U.S. military's elite units are facing a very different type of enemy, forcing big changes in the way they operate.
Joining us now is Jim Frederick, Time Magazine's international editor. His new book is called Special Ops, The Hidden World of America's Toughest Warriors. And we are happy to have Jim with us here this morning. Jim, good to see you here.
Great to be here.
It's fascinating, just the things we hear in the general public about these special ops soldiers. We know that they're a different breed, of course. You say the birth of the special ops officer really kind of dates back to World War II. What was it about then that really kind of brought about this different soldier?
Right. Special ops in some variety has existed since warfare has existed. The big difference with World War II, the real sea change, was technology and training. What you found was that parachutes, deep strike airplanes, that was really the birth of U.S. Army Rangers and British SAS was really the birth of what we now think of as Special Operations Forces.
We've come a long way from that point in time, though, and Bob Kerrey, former Senator Bob Kerrey, wrote the intro to your book. He's a former Navy SEAL as well, and he says it's really these results. Results define and separate us from the past. How so?
Yeah, well, he made a comparison in his introduction where he compared his unit in 1967, SEALs, with today's SEALs as professional athletes compared to today, where you always have Joe Namath, who might have been an athlete for all times, but the average level of discipline and professionalism between professional sports teams today and back then, it's a world of difference.
It's an evolution.
Yeah, and he said it's the exact same thing. It's techniques, it's training, it's tactics that Special Operations Forces of 40 years ago can't even be compared with the level of lethality and stealth and really force projection that's capable today.
Some of the top military leaders that this country has known have special ops backgrounds, particularly General Stanley McChrystal, Vice Admiral William McRaven. How has their experience as special ops soldiers, how has it kind of shaped the way the military has changed over the last few years?
Well, it's really changed everything, actually. I think that the biggest difference in the post-Gulf War I era and today is you've seen a complete changeover of the leadership. Back in 1991, you had the Cold Warriors who came from infantry or armor, and they envisioned and were training for grand, World War III land battles that were going to rage across all of Europe. And so, you had Colin Powell, Norman Schwarzkopf, Tommy Franks. Over the past 20 years, I think that you've seen that all of the top leadership structure of the U.S. military today is deeply informed by, they came from a special ops background. And today, even conventional military units, infrared sighting, working behind enemy lines, night strikes, the entire disposition of the way that the military operates today has been completely informed and transformed. It's really a special operations kind of military.
It's really
today.
a leaner, sleeker, more sophisticated military. We're not planning to storm beaches anymore. Now it's all about fighting terrorism and doing these clandestine operations.
It's about smaller wars. It's about asynchronous wars. And a lot of the credit, surprisingly enough, according to some people, is, a lot of it goes back to Donald Rumsfeld and some of his thinking about using a smaller force to invade Iraq. That didn't go so well, and it took 10 years to refine the strategies and the tactics and to get to this place where it's now a highly lethal, highly effective form of warfare that you see. The crowning achievement was the killing of Osama bin Laden.
What was the biggest surprise in your research?
The biggest surprise in my research was the degree to which this transformation has taken place, and this is already a fait accompli, that this is the new breed of warriors. And and then I think finally the final thing is that PTSD is really an important problem in the military, and especially so with special operations forces.
Post-traumatic stress disorder. It's just that it's something that every one of these kids that's out there ends up coming home dealing with, and it's something that needs to be combated here on the home front. Thanks so much, Jim. Good to see you this morning.
Thank you.
We do appreciate it.